Hello everyone, and my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube page. Tonight's movie is Jess Franco's Wicked Women, also known as Das Haus der Manstolen Frauen. I probably butchered that. This is from 1977. This has also been put out on the special region-free German Blu-ray from Jess Franco's Golden Goya collection. This is Wicked Women here. And there's some artwork right on the front there. This is, I think, one of the few that actually has like artwork like that. It's actually not like a picture, which is pretty interesting. I just realized that. Excellent transfer on these. These are region-free Blu-rays. Limited special features, and some of them are just not available in English at all. But regardless, completely worth it for these very rare films to get them on Blu-ray with these amazing transfers from the negatives, audio and visually speaking. Now, 1977, if you know Jess Franco was doing multiple films per year. I mean, the man died with, 250 plus movies under his belt. In 1977, there's a good number of these Golden Goya collection movies that were made in 1977. This is one of them. Wicked Women stars his wife, Lena Romay, in, I would say, the lead role. You also see a lot, look very carefully, you also see a lot of actors and actresses from other films from 1977 and from the Golden Goya collection of his films. You're going to find actresses from Blue Rita, from Women in Cell Block 9, so on and so forth, so look closely. Now, Lena Romay in this film is sporting a shaved head, which I believe she also has in another film in 1977 that I'll be reviewing later on, which is a fairly popular prison film, women in prison film. But this particular film, wow. Whew. Oh boy. Now, if we're going to start with the actual characters and the actors in this film. Lena Romay does an unbelievable job. Lena Romay is expressing a million different emotions, because if you know Jess Franco films, you have to express a million different emotions, including elation, terror, confusion, and total madness. And Lena Romay really does that. As a matter of fact, Lena Romay spends more than half of the film not being able to speak, which almost conjures up some recollections of some of the roles her husband has done, and also her role in How to Seduce a Virgin, but differently at the same time. It's done by trauma and by shock, as opposed to maybe something that she was born that way, or something like that. She does an excellent job, and we have some very interesting characters throughout this entire film. Everybody's interesting. We have this husband, wife, and then cheater, 3 who run this mental clinic, kind of asylum type of deal. And the wife is very interesting. I don't think I've seen her before in anything else. She has a very interesting vibe about her, a very interesting look about her. She's just very unique. Also, you're going to find that it's very rare for an actress, especially in 1977, especially in a Jess Franco film, to be completely bald down there, and she is as well. Very weird. We also have a woman in this film who reminds me of Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. Same kind of hairstyle. I know Tarantino was friends with Franco when Franco was alive. Franco even dedicated a song to him in one of Franco's solo albums. I think it's called Tarantino, and I know that Tarantino is a huge fan of Jess Franco films. But interestingly, on that one as well, we have we have a character in this film that you don't typically see in a Jess Franco film, almost like a hippie beatnik type character, a dirty, scruffy hippie type character. I don't typically see men like that in Jess Franco films, so that was very interesting. We also have we even have a religious character in the asylum, and you can sense a lot of humor in her character, and you can sense some of Franco possibly poking fun at religion in her character, in particular Catholicism. And it would make more sense when you realize Franco's background of being his art being pushed out of Spain by Catholicism and the Catholic Church kind of ruling Spain at that time. That's where he was from, and he got out of Spain. Later would return from Macumba Sexual and things like that, but things were, I think, slightly different in Spain at that time as well, when he went back. But when he was, raised there. So
We have really crazy characters in this film, and some of the characters are playing multiple roles in a way, not in like the Mulholland Drive kind of way. No, no, I mean in the way of the story. Not everybody is who they seem to be. There's this element of vision in this film and perception. Now, if we go to the music of this film, wow, 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 is the music diverse in this film. We have very gothic tones in this film, gothic orchestrated music in this film, gothic cues. When I say gothic, I say horror gothic cues. We even have thunderstorms, and we have crickets. We also have, of course, Franco's token jazz numbers in this film. Some jazz music, especially in the sex scenes. Whenever a sex scene, you can almost predict when a sex scene is about to happen by the jazz music starting, and that happens in this film as well. Although the music is kind of low in the low end. We also have music coming from records, from vinyl records, and you see the record playing. Reminds me of, I know it sounds crazy, but it reminds me of a lot of 80s and 70s sexploitation films, but also more recently Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof with the record. We also have a character playing an acoustic guitar piece that is actually part of the score and actually carries on into the next scene. One of the most recognizable pieces in this whole film, and really something, it plays in the menu screen, and really something really an awesome piece of music with the acoustic guitar, and in the way that the acoustic guitar becomes a set piece in this film is also really interesting. If we look at Jess Franco's visual style in this film, he's really capturing pieces in this film as if they were photographs, and then a couple occasional zooms into an element of that photograph, and then kind of coming back out again. He's also doing something in this film that made me question whether or not my projector was okay, and that was the fact that he is some of the scenes start off completely out of focus or are in focus for an extended period of time, out of focus for an extended period of time. Very bizarre, hard to see, almost look like you're looking through, kind of a foggy window. Really bizarre, and he utilized that in various scenes in this film where it would be an extended piece of kind of out of focus, not out of focus for a second till he went into focus, but out of focus extended scene wise. There's also an unbelievable set piece in this film that is covered in mirrors, and you wonder to yourself, how in the world did Jess Franco film this section at all without being seen in the mirror, or his camera being seen in the mirror? And he always utilized mirrors, if you know, but this was really out of control. I mean, it went into infinity because it was a kind of a bathtub room surrounded by mirrors. And he visited that a couple times. I think he also visits that in another film called Voodoo Passion, which I will review in the future and see in the future. So, films that were done in 1977 or in the same year, sometimes he did them in similar set locations. I don't want to say sets; these are all real places, folks. The main house in this film is just wow. It's just something special. It's all stone. It's tall. It's circular. Where does he find these locations? And even the locations in this film in general. I mean, I know he loved the Cayman Islands, I believe. And you could just sense this real beautiful vibe, a ship going off into the distance, the palm trees and stuff, but an island with kind of the city right next to the island, and roads and cars and everything, but just this very calming, beautiful island. Mixed with just absolutely disturbing things happening throughout the storyline of this film, which is a Jess Franco, that's a token thing for him as well. Um, so real beautiful things, and you also have the asylum, which kind of looks possibly just like a stone kind of area, a stone like almost vacant place that was kind of populated in a way. He used those places a lot, like in Women in Cell Block 9 and things like that. Could be the same place, I don't know. Really interesting things. Now, I will say there's a scene in this film that is probably one of my favorite scenes of all time in a Jess Franco film, and maybe one of my favorite scenes cinematically in total. And it's a boat scene, it's a sailboat scene in this film that is unbelievable. The way Jess Franco filmed this should never have been for a low budget film, and it's not recognized, he's not recognized, and it's unbelievable. The fact that these Hollywood films are getting released, as I say a million times, this sailboat scene is unbelievable, and the fact that it's cut in with the acoustic guitar from the previous scene, now the acoustic guitar is being played on the sailboat, and you're circling the sailboat in this, this relaxing, care carefree freedom ride. It's the most beautifully shot scene. Oh my gosh, it's on the back of the Blu-ray too. You could see a piece of it right there. But oh my gosh, what a scene, folks. Now, I got to tell you, the storyline of this film. Wow, there's tons of twists and turns. There's tons of total what the f's. There's a lot of genre mashing in this film. We have horror, we have erotic, of course, heavy on the erotic. We have crime, we have action, mystery. It's crazy. Now the film, sometimes he would tell his films in flashback, and this film does that. But later on in the film, you get to find out what happened at the beginning of the film. And I'm also going to say that there's quite a bit of blood in this film. Now Franco didn't have a lot of blood in his films. He wasn't a gore hound, and his films were very violent, but they weren't necessarily. You didn't see the red stuff. In this film, you see a lot of red stuff. There's just a lot of blood. There's a lot of stab wounds and blood. So that was pretty shocking, even from the first frame of the film, or after the opening credits. There's a lot of blood in this film, and there's a mystery in this film, and I gotta say that the asylum almost reminded me of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I gotta tell you, it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was too normal for this asylum. Sex was used in this asylum to heal people. The doctors were completely twisted in their approaches, which were supposedly, reputable approaches, and it was just the choices and the situations were just batshit crazy, just chaos. You're entering into Jess Franco's world, which means you're going to switch tones. Horrible things are going to happen, and then in the next frame, it's a beautiful shot, and everything's okay again. And even the character has forgotten the horrible thing that's happened. There's a shot in here of a vagina being opened up as part of an investigation. I mean, close up, right in your face. There's a pen getting taken out of a vagina in this film. There is a ton of lesbian sex in this film, and a lot of fingers in the vagina, or not in, or on it, rubbing and everything. So lots of masturbation, lots of group masturbation, orgy scenes. The film really utilizes sex, even more so than maybe some other Franco films. In some ways, I guess, but it's utilized like crazy throughout this film, and there are some very jarring things that happen in this film, folks. It keeps you on your toes. You have the erotic, you have the violent, you have the bizarre, you have the slightly humorous, I guess. You have the dialogue is definitely humorous in a way because of how crazy it is. Sometimes it's pornographic, and then sometimes there are some lines where you're just like, what? How could you say something like that after what just happened? This asylum definitely gives One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest a run for its money, just in terms of how disturbing the situations are in this asylum and how sex is being utilized. Of course, we have threesomes, which is something that's very common in Jess Franco films. We have husbands and wives who are free with bringing somebody else in, most notably a woman. And kind of free sex, free love is definitely an aspect in the storyline of this film, but also the fact that sex is actually something that can heal people, and actually something that is useful in rehabilitating people in some form or fashion. This film has many twists and turns. This film has much sex, lots of blood for a Franco film, beautiful shots, great music. There are sections of this film where you feel like you're watching a giallo film. There are sections of this film where you feel like you're watching a horror film, a gothic horror film in the Caribbean with crickets. I mean, it really felt gothic, some of these set pieces, especially in the cellar. There's a sex scene in here where something will happen right after the sex scene that will just jar you to death. This is a really bizarre film, but what else could you expect from Jess Franco? I loved it. This is Wicked Women, part of the Ascot Elite German Golden Goya collection, and it's region free, and you can get it on Diabolic DVD. There's no nudity here, so that's okay. There you go, folks. This is Wicked Women. I just, produced by Erwin C. Dietrich, which all happened on these Golden Goyas. I got to tell you, this movie was just batshit crazy. but erotic, and keeps you on your toes, and just your mouth is just open. You can't believe what you're watching. I mean, you can't believe the situations and the storyline and what in the world is going on. And but it makes perfect sense because you're in Jess Franco's world now, folks. You're in his world. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro, folks. And that was tonight's movie. Please feel free to watch some of my own films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you, Jess Franco. Thank you, you guys. And check out some more of my other reviews on this YouTube page. Also, there will be many, many, many more reviews. Diamonds in the Rough, in particular, Jess Franco.